Hello there, this is Benny.
And this is Kyle.
And you're listening to The Doctor's Watcher.
The Outlaws podcast about every episode of Doctor Who.
Oh yeah. Howdy, partners. Come on down to The Doctor's Watcher.
Where if you don't serve us drinks fast enough, we might just shoot ya.
That's right. In fact, we might shoot you anyway, because we're just that bad. I wish I could do a bad, person with an English accent doing an American accent.
Uh-huh.
That would be fun.
If you are the enemies of either the Mario Brothers or the Beatles, you better look out.
That's right. This is our second episode in a row that we're recording on the same day. So I've already heard a little bit about what Kyle's been up to. But Kyle, did you have anything else you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, so off mic, we were just talking about the drawbacks of getting old.
Yes.
And I was actually just thinking about how my partner and I went to a concert recently.
Uh-huh.
And it took place in the city in San Francisco. So, we had to drive over there and everything.
Uh-huh.
But the way it worked out, the opening act played at 8:00, and then the main act started playing at 9:00, but the main act is a pretty new group, and they basically only have one album out, and they were basically done playing by 10, and we were home before 11.
And you were like, thank goodness. I'm actually glad it didn't take too long.
Yep, it was definitely a nice concert for old people, which was funny because most of the people there were pretty young.
These whippersnappers, they don't know how good they have it. I remember we went to a Proto Man show once, and they had two opening acts, and I didn't realize that going into it. And when the second opening act started, I was just like, man, I just want the show to begin. This is going to take all night.
Yeah, two opening acts is a lot.
And another thing that I've been up to is I've been listening to the audiobook of Patrick Stewart's memoir, Sir Patrick Stewart's memoir, Making It So, read by the author.
Nice.
And it's been excellent. It's quite long. I think my library, time on it is about to run out, and I'm not going to be able to finish it. It is long. But I did just get to the part where he just got cast on this new this American science fiction television program called Star Trek, which he had never seen before, but he says his kids had seen it, and he just knew it as this show with people in brightly colored shirts and brightly colored long sleeve shirts that his kids would watch.
Well, I guess that does pretty accurately describe the original series.
Indeed. As a fan of both the original series and Next Generation, it is quite amusing to hear Sir Patrick's thoughts on it.
I've heard that book is quite good, and that it can be somewhat harrowing at times.
Yeah, he talks about his childhood situation with his parents. His father was abusive to him and his siblings and his mom. So content warning for those people who want to check it out. It's tough to listen to. Speaking of 1960s sci-fi television shows like the original Star Trek, here's another 1960s, even earlier, Doctor Who.
So this is the 37th episode of season 3.
It is.
the OK Corral, which, of course, is the 4th episode of the Gunfighters serial.
Yeah, so Kyle, won't you tell us that you watched it on BritBox?
I will indeed tell you that I watched it on BritBox. I watched it on BritBox.
You heard it here, folks. He watched it on BritBox.
And would you tell us what the Cliffdingler was?
Well, we got ourselves some no good varmints. We got the Clantons. We got Johnny Ringo. They got beef with Doc Holliday and or the Doctor. And different people, different groups of people are sort of in different places. Johnny Ringo was with Stephen and Dodo. No, he's with Stephen and Kate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to try to remember exactly who's where and who's with who. We've had some like back and forths and different people going to different places and going after different people at different places and then meeting other people. Not sure I completely can keep it all straight, but we are definitely heading for a shootout, and I think we know where that shootout's going to be.
And this episode doesn't even start with the Cliffdingler. It just gets right into things.
Excellent.
And it starts at the saloon where Wearp and Basterson and the Doctor are covering the body of Charlie the bartender with a sheet.
Alas, they're going to have to work him into their Last Chance Saloon song. Last call at the Last Chance Saloon.
I would not be surprised if that is actually a lyric in the song.
I love it. We can insert it here if it was, or if you just hear silence, I guess it wasn't.
The Doctor wants to GTFO basically as soon as Stephen and Dodo are both back. But Wearp tells him that he's not going anywhere because he is now deputized. And
oh no.
Wearp pins a star to his lapel and gives him a gun.
Oh man, people keep trying to give the Doctor guns in this serial.
Yeah, he protests. He doesn't want the gun, but Wearp doesn't really care and gives it to him anyway.
Yeah.
And then Wearp's brother Virgil, or Vearp, shows up.
Okay, hey, we're getting more ERPs. But first, maybe should we comment on the long hard gun that Wearp just gave the Doctor, our Doctorp ship?
Doctorp or Wyoctor.
Oh, please let it be Doctorp.
So Vearp arrives and Wearp is like, cool. Let's head back to the sheriff's office where little Wearp is waiting for us.
Yeah, let's do that.
And everyone heads out other than the Doctor, who's left alone in the saloon.
Yeah, listeners, you may remember that little Wearp ain't doing so good.
We do get a brief scene to remind the viewers that basically the Clanton brothers meet up with their dad, Pa Clanton, and Johnny Ringo, and they tell them that they shot little Wearp. And Dad's not too happy about this.
Well, glory be. Now you really have declared war.
Yep, guess we're going to have a shootout.
That does seem to be where this is heading. Back at the sheriff's office, it turns out little Wearp's not dead.
Oh, okay. Hey.
Yeah, he's just almost dead.
Oh, well, that's not much better, but it is better.
He confirms for Wearp and Vearp that it was Clantons who shot him, and then he dies.
Well, nice to leave no room for doubt there.
Masterson's like, I'll get a warrant ready for them right away or whatever.
And Wearp's like, we won't need a warrant.
Yeah, Wearp's like, fuck that. Virgil, go tell the Clantons to meet us at sunrise at the OK Corral.
Uh-huh.
And Basterson's like, dude, that's illegal and shit.
Uh-huh.
But Wearp doesn't care, and Basterson's not actually going to stop him. So Virgil leaves, and Wearp loads his gun.
I like how they're just assuming that the Clantons aren't just going to gun down Virgil as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a not necessarily safe assumption.
I guess it's one of these things like the honor of the Old West, the honor of the gunfighters. They have to follow their code.
Right. Yeah, they're assuming that the Clantons are actually going to, like, act in good faith.
Yeah.
And, you know, do a proper shootout and whatever.
Uh-huh.
So back at the saloon, the Clantons are having dinner with Johnny Ringo. Stephen and Kate are both kind of sitting off to the side.
I imagine they don't have much of an appetite.
Yeah, not really. Vearp shows up to deliver the message from Wyatt. So Ringo hides because the Clantons think that the Earps don't know that Ringo's here.
Oh, dang.
Of course they do because the doctor told them, but the Clantons don't know that. So Johnny Ringo hides. They let Virgil in. They are, like, being respectful of the Wild West honor code and whatever, and don't just immediately gun him down. So he delivers the message. He promises that there's not going to be a posse of lawmen waiting to arrest them all at the OK Corral.
Huh.
They asked him, like, are we going to be arrested, basically? And he's like, you know, no.
No, you're going to get shot. That's so much better, right?
Uh-huh. He sees Stephen and asks about him, and Stephen says that he's on the Earps side in this whole thing.
Well, I mean, he is, but that's pretty brave to say in front of all the Clantons.
Uh-huh.
Not that the Clantons really, you know, thought otherwise, but still.
Yeah. Vearp asks Stephen if he wants to leave with him, and Stephen's like,
yeah, I'd like to. Somehow I don't think it's going to be possible.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, of course, the Clantons are like, yeah, he stays with us or whatever.
Yeah.
So Virgil heads out. Johnny Ringo basically just informs the Clantons of the plan. He doesn't, like, consult with them or make a plan with them or anything. He just, like, tells them what the plan is, which is essentially that they will all be bait and will face the Earps head on while he sneaks around the back and shoots the Earps from behind.
Oh, dang. Villainous.
Never figured you for a back shooter, Ringo.
I never figured you for any kind of shooter, Billy, which is why we'll do it my way. Okay? Real careful.
And they're getting dragged again.
Back at the sheriff's office, Wearp and Vearp are discussing their plans, which both the Doctor and Bat Masterson want no part of.
For different reasons, but yeah.
Yeah. Virgil tells everybody that Stephen is with the Clantons. The Doctor says that he was supposed to be looking for Dodo with Johnny Ringo, and Vearp confirms that he did actually see Johnny Ringo's horse at the saloon, and Kate, who he thinks is still Johnny Ringo's girlfriend. So, you know, it's pretty obvious to everybody that not only is Johnny Ringo in town, but he's with the Clantons.
Yep.
The Earps are wondering how they're going to face off against the Clantons and Ringo. You know, they're going to be basically outnumbered 4-2 when Doc Holliday shows up with Dodo and says that he'll help them.
Yeah, well, I think we're getting our cast of characters together here.
Uh-huh. Virgil is not so sure about this.
Now, see here, Wyatt. I don't take kindly to fighting alongside an outlaw, friend of yours or no.
Well, it's either that or just the two of us, so...
Uh-huh. Yeah, at first, Doc Holliday is basically like, all right, whatever, your loss.
Yeah, he's like, all right, peace. This is actually your fight, so...
But then he learns that Kate is with Johnny Ringo. And then he's like, actually, never mind. I'm fighting with you all whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So Wyatt tells the doctor that he doesn't need to help anymore now that Doc Holliday is here. So the doctor literally turns in his badge and gun.
Excellent.
Holliday asks what the plan is, and Wearp is like,
Well, just walk right up there and face him.
and Holliday's like, that's fucking dumb. We're going to do it my way.
Yeah.
And then we cut away before we get to learn what his way is.
They're going to keep the audience in suspense.
Indeed. So we cut to the middle of the night, it seems. Dodo and the doctor are sitting in the saloon when Bat Masterson comes in, just in time to overhear the doctor talking about how he wishes that the Earps could have let Masterson handle the situation with a posse of deputies and let the Clantons get a fair trial.
Mm-hmm. Well, something tells me that's not going to happen, but it would have been better if it had.
Bat's like,
Proud to hear you say so, Doctor. If you feel that way, there's something you can do.
Okay, tell us more. We're getting the mass doctor ship ready to go. Doctorson.
Docksterson?
We'll workshop it. We'll see if it's worth coming up with a good one.
So he tells the doctor that he's tried to talk Wyatt out of this, but he can't.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the doctor can talk the Clantons out of it.
They know me for a friend of Wyatt's, but if you go to 'em wearing your badge, say I'll guarantee 'em a fair trial, it might just persuade 'em. Me? I'd rather face trial than Wyatt, Virgil, and Holliday together.
Huh. Well, worth a shot.
Yeah. So the doctor agrees. Bat
But
pins...
also, do they still think he's Doc Holliday?
No, I think they've figured it out by now.
Okay. I keep losing that particular thread.
So the doctor agrees. Bat pins the star back onto the doctor's chest. I don't think he gives him a gun, though.
Well, hopefully he won't need one.
And he tells the doctor that there's only 2 hours until sunup, so he'd better get to it.
Uh-huh.
The doctor shows up at the Clanton ranch, where he meets Pa Clanton and Stephen.
Doctor!
No, not doctor at the moment, dear boy. I am deputy sheriff of Tombstone.
Nice.
Yeah, totally. He tells Pa Clanton to tell his boys to call it off and, promises that they'll get a fair trial. At first, Pa Clanton doesn't really give a shit of what the doctor has to say, but when he learns that not only do the Earps already know about Johnny Ringo, but also they have Doc Holliday with them, then he seems to start to give things a second thought.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is just Pa Clanton. The Clanton brothers and Johnny Ringo are basically already showing up in town and getting into place at the OK Corral. And Ringo reminds everybody of the plan.
Just remember what I told you.
Yeah, I remember. We're the bait in the trap.
That's right. Now don't forget. Start firing before they get into range. And go on firing so they don't get a chance to look behind them. Because that's where I'll be. Okay? Be seeing you.
Hope their aim is, pretty close to their targets and they're not shooting past them, or else this plan could be, you could say it might backfire. I don't know if that works or not, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, generally it's not a good idea to be downrange while people are shooting.
Yeah, maybe you don't want to be directly behind. Maybe just like more off to the side.
Maybe they'll be careful to like only shoot at their feet and like make them do the bullet dance or something.
Maybe. You're listening to The Doctor's Watcher. If you enjoy our show, please leave us a 5-star review and tell a friend. We appreciate you, listener. You can reach us by tweeting at Dr. Watcher or emailing thedoctorswatcher@gmail.com. And now, back to the episode.
Back at the sheriff's office, Wyatt, Virgil, and Holliday all head out as well. And we cut back to the OK Corral, where the Clantons are waiting for them. The Earps slowly approach as the Clantons start shooting.
Oh, all right, here goes. I thought we might have, like, you know, some dramatic dialogue or something, but...
And nope, they're skipping all that.
All right.
Yeah, just press and escape through the cutscene.
Yeah.
So the two Earp brothers are, like, slowly walking down the middle of the street.
Are their spurs jingling?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
The three Clantons are all just like shooting and shooting and shooting, and the Earps aren't getting hit like at all. So I don't know
they're
if
just bad shots.
The Clantons, yeah, if they studied at Stormtrooper Academy or what, but
clearly.
So eventually...
Well, the problem is that if you'll recall, they're the Mario brothers, and when they shoot, their bullets go high and then low and then high and then low and then high and then low. And they just... If you're at the wrong location, you know, and you're trying to shoot at a stationary target or a slow-moving target, it'll just keep going over their heads because it always follows the same trajectory.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening here. The Earps have, like, specifically timed their walk to be, like... in the peaks of the bullet path.
They keep like squatting down and pulling their hats down over their ears.
Ringo, meanwhile, is kind of sneaking up behind Doc Holliday, who's walking down the sidewalk, until Dodo calls out and warns Doc Holliday that Ringo is sneaking up behind him.
Oh, dang. She might have just saved Doc Holliday's life.
Yeah, probably she did. But Ringo grabs her and basically takes her hostage and starts using her as a human shield.
Oh, dang.
So he tells Holliday to drop his gun or Dodo gets it. So Holliday drops his gun.
That's good of him.
Ringo goes to... like pick Holliday's gun up off of the ground. But we know
Holliday has a second gun.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he pulled it on Dodo earlier.
He had it in his pocket.
So Ringo goes to get the one that he dropped. He takes Dodo with him. She's still his hostage. But as he leans over, she uses her bonus action to shove him.
Okay.
And...
person of bonus action, as we always say on the show.
Right. And, you know, since he's leaning over, that gives her advantage on the roll. And she knocks him prone, at which point Doc Holliday very calmly pulls his little gun out of his pocket and shoots Ringo.
That'll do it.
I thought you'd do better than that, Mr. Ringo.
I will. Next time.
Oh, okay.
And Ringo dies.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say his prediction is not going to come true.
I should mention that, like, this whole time we're hearing gunshots happening in the background.
We're missing the whole thing.
Holliday finds Wyatt Earp and tells him that he's taken care of Ringo. He's basically just like, yeah, Johnny Ringo was here, but now he's not.
Yeah, just FYI.
Billy Clanton, I think that was Luigi.
I think
He decides that he's going to take out Doc Holliday. So he crawls over to some nearby cover, and he and Holliday start shooting at each other. But Billy's cover is not very great, and neither is...
cover at best.
Yeah. He's basically just like on his stomach, kind of like at the like step up onto the sidewalk in front of the saloon. So yeah, it's...
Yeah, that's not giving you a lot of bonuses there.
Yeah. And his aim, his shot, is basically about as good as his cover.
No, we're the ones dragging the Clantons.
So he gets hit before too long. He's in pain. He's not quite dead yet. He's like struggling to find the strength to lift his gun and continue the fight when Doc Holliday looks him in the eye and lines up a last shot and executes him, basically.
How much of this happens on camera on this children's show?
I don't think we see the actual shot happen, but we see like most of it.
Like the cold-blooded lining up the shot with the pistol and man, they must have left that memo back in England when they flew out here to Tombstone.
Maybe they lost it in John Wiles' files when he quit or got fired or however he left. So Toad, aka Phineas Clanton, watches all of this happen, and he tries to move to a new position himself, but like in his maneuvering, he basically runs around a wagon right into Virgil's line of fire.
Oh dear.
And he is very soon neither standing nor living.
Oh, rip.
So Mario Ike Clanton is the only remaining Clanton brother at this point, and he runs up some stairs, and, you know, up at the top of the stairs, he aims his gun at Doc Holliday, and he pulls the trigger, and it clicks because he's out of bullets.
Oh, I was worried there for a second.
And, you know, he starts like rushing to reload or whatever, but before he's able to do that, Wyatt, Virgil, and Holliday all shoot him, and he falls over the handrail of the balcony that he's on to the ground.
Dang. I feel like they could have tried a little harder to take him alive at that point, but I think we knew going into this fight that wasn't really anyone's priority.
Yeah, it's true. The non-diegetic voiceover singer says,
"They paid for their sin and they lost on the draw. For the herbs they was master and they was the law." Even though they're explicitly going outside of the law here.
Yeah, I guess only technically were they the law in this case.
So beware, all you cowboys who's yearning to sin. If the herbs is the lawman, you ain't gonna win.
Dang. All right, now I'll try to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And as this music happens, the camera pans over to a actually pretty cool shot of like just 3 sets of legs and feet and like a hand with a gun.
Dang. Man, I feel like this would have been, you know, probably pretty par for the course for a Western back then, but I don't think that those tended to be on kids' shows.
Oh, I guess I should just make sure it's clear. When I say 3 sets of legs and feet, it's the 3 men who were left standing. It's the Earps and Holliday.
Oh, for some reason I was just assuming that this was like they'd stacked the bodies to prepare them for like burial or something. Okay.
No, this is like their post-shootout badass shot.
Gotcha.
We get a goodbye scene between our PCs and Doc Holliday and Kate. The dialogue in this scene is a little bit confusing, but I think I gathered that Doc Holliday is leaving Tombstone even though the Clantons and Johnny Ringo are no longer a problem, and they were the reason that like Wyatt Earp didn't want him to stay in town.
Yeah, what about your dentist practice?
Yeah, like he just started it. He's had one customer who, you know, he gave him a free job because he was the first customer, so...
Yeah, ironically, incidentally, Kyle and I happened to share the same dentist because he recommended him when I moved out here to California, and we both just learned that he's retiring. So we're like, come on, man, people are counting on you. I mean, obviously, we're very happy for our dentist that he's retiring. He was fantastic, and I wish him all the best. But all the more reason for Doc Holliday to stay in practice.
I actually just saw our dentist like within a week or two of before we received the letter saying that he was retiring.
Oh, yeah. I think your partner said something about like how he seemed to be trying to rush to fit you in, and now you know why.
So yeah, I really don't know why Doc Holliday's leaving town, but I think I understood from the dialogue that he is.
Yeah.
Masterson has like removed the Doc Holliday wanted poster from the sheriff's office.
Well, that's nice of him.
I guess he's, you know, no longer officially wanted or anything. Doc Holliday gives the wanted poster to the doctor, I guess like as a souvenir or whatever.
That's cool. I actually really dig that.
Yeah, Dodo's pretty excited about this, but the doctor doesn't give a shit.
Oh, my dear Dodo. My dear Dodo. You know, you're fast becoming a prey to every cliche-ridden convention in the American West. And it's high time we left. Come along. Come along.
Oh, but Doctor.
I feel like it's the Doctor Who writers who got dragged on that one.
And the doctor tosses the Doc Holliday wanted poster to the ground, like off to the side, as he steps into the TARDIS.
Dang, that would have been such a cool souvenir. And you didn't just sign it. Man, come on.
Yeah, Dodo's going to be pretty disappointed when she finds out, I think. Sometime later, the TARDIS screen is showing what to me was a very nondescript image of outside.
Okay.
And the doctor says that he knows exactly where they are.
In the future, very much in the future. We've now reached a distant horizon of an age of peace and prosperity. Now, I'm going to be off.
Okay. Sounds like we're in the Star Trek future now.
And as they all stop looking at the scanner, we, the viewers, see
a Dalek.
A person wearing animal skins and carrying a club.
Oh, I think you might have been slightly off there.
So this person's approaching the TARDIS, and the words, "Next episode, Doctor Who and the Savages," appear on the screen.
Well, I don't know how we feel about that word in the year 2024, but
Yeah.
guess that's what we're heading for. Also, it's interesting that the next episode is going to be called Doctor Who and the...
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've ever had that before.
I think for the movies, we had Doctor Who and the
that's
Daleks.
true.
And,
that's true.
I think Doctor Who and the Daleks Invasion, or maybe the second one was just Daleks Invasion Earth 2140, whatever the year was. But yeah. Anyway, enough about that, though. Let's talk about this serial. Kyle, I know you value the time of our beloved listeners. All of us only have so much time to spend because we don't have a TARDIS at a time machine.
It's
so
true.
Given that we must move forward linearly through time, would you recommend that our listeners spend their time on this serial?
So I thought this serial was pretty fun.
Cool.
The non-diegetic ballad singer throughout the entire serial is, a unique touch. We've never had that in Doctor Who before. It was pretty entertaining. I somehow doubt we'll ever have it in Doctor Who again, but who knows?
Looking at you, Russell T. Davies. If you're looking for ideas, how about this one?
The story itself was pretty entertaining. It's been a while since I've read the Wikipedia page about what actually happened, and I think the story is not very accurate, if I remember right, but it is entertaining.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Johnny Ringo didn't actually die, off to the side of the shootout happening at the OK Corral. And I doubt that Masterson was there that day either.
The bad American accents are always pretty funny.
Excellent.
So I would say if you're into Old West theme stuff, then you should definitely watch it. Otherwise, I'd probably give it a soft recommend. If this serial sounded fun, then probably you will think it was fun.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe check out the first episode, which includes Steven singing. That's a fun
Excellent.
thing. And, decide from there if you're interested in watching the rest or not. Although I will say, as per usual in these serials, and as you've heard on our episodes, the story doesn't really get moving until the second or third episode.
Yeah.
But you'll get a feel for it in the first.
Like they were dragging it out a little bit as they were going. There was a lot of people moving, from town to town or from the saloon to the sheriff's station / prison and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like it probably could have been streamlined into a 2 or 3 episode serial, but I also imagine that's probably going to be true for a lot of them.
And it didn't even have Terry Nation as the writer. Well, cool. What other notes did you have for us, Kyle?
So the only other note I had is a repeat of a note from the previous episode, which is to remind our listeners to send us thoughts or questions or anything about a season 3 wrap-up show or about Doctor Who in general.
Yes. Yep. We're coming up on the end of this season, apparently. I mean, this is episode 37, so
yeah.
We know, I think in season 2 we had 40-some episodes, and I think in season 1 as well. I can't quite recall. But yeah, I think we're probably we might have 1 or 2 serials left.
I do have in my notes a couple of questions and comments already from a listener and friend of the podcast, Danny.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah, thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
If you have any else, feel free to send them, and also all of the other listeners.
Yeah, and we do record these a fair ways in advance, so even though Kyle and I, still have a few episodes to go before the end of the podcast, by the time this comes out, we'll probably be right about to record that season 3 wrap-up. So don't delay. As soon as you hear this episode, write in and let us know your thoughts, your questions, your comments, and that way we can include them in that wrap-up episode.
Yeah, for sure. That is actually definitely the case. I looked at, if we stay on our current schedule, then I believe we'll record the last proper episode of season 3 the day that this episode we're recording now is released.
Oh shoot. So yeah, right in now, folks.
Yeah, we're going to be doing our wrap-up episode real soon.
Yeah, so you can write us on the XYZ PDQ app at Dr. Watcher, or email us at thedoctorswatcher
at Gmail.
At gmail.com, yes. There's more of an email address than that. thedoctorswatcher at gmail.com.
Yeah, it's kind of these days the Doctor's Watcher at the default email provider.
Yeah, for better or worse, it's true. Well, thank you, Kyle, for watching Doctor Who and telling me all about it. Hold on. Well, thanking you kindly, Kyle, for watching Doctor Who and telling me all about it.
And thank you, Benny, for listening to me talk all about Dr. Holliday. Doctor Who.
And thank you, listeners. Thank all y'all listeners. This is ending up more southern than western. Thank you, listeners, for listening to me, listening to Kyle talk about Doctor Who. We'd love to hear from you. We already did that part. We didn't thank Circuit 23 for the awesome theme song that he made for us. He may not be, tickling the ivories and singing a song between scenes, but he is making fantastic music that you should check out on SoundCloud and Bandcamp. And you can always write him at circuit.23@gmail.com. Or maybe I should just say circuit.23 and let y'all assume. All right, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks for the far future, where people, it's probably just a fashion statement to wear animal furs and carry clubs.
And yeah, everybody else is like, have you seen this new fashion? It's really savage.
Yes, exactly. I think we cracked it. See you then, folks. Bye.
I'll get a warrant for him, Wyatt. I'll get him. You know that.
You'll get him. Virgil.
Yes, what?
Ride on out to the Clantons and tell him we'll be waiting for him come sunup.
Now listen, Wyatt. There's a right and a wrong way of doing it.
Stay out of this batch.
This ain't legal, Wyatt. If you uphold the law, you don't go starting a private.
You gonna try and stop me?
No, Wyatt. But I can't go along with you. The law says that
The law can't bring my kid brother back. Virgil and me's gonna step outside of the law.
I reckon so. Well, I'll tell them. What'll they say?
Tell him the OK Corral.